Last time we talked about plasma physics for fusion energy. We discussed the effects of magnetic fields on charged particles and the resulting Larmor motion or spiraling. Today we're going to take that one step further, figure out how we can use that spiraling to trap plasma. Here's magnetic confinement, Tokamaks, and Stellarators. Something we've been careful to not understate is that plasma is really hot. Even the metal with the highest melting point, tungsten, pales in comparison to fusion temperatures. Tungsten melts at 3695 Kelvin, and fusion is over 100 million Kelvin, a little hotter. So basically, the plasma can't slam into the walls uncontrolled. Some interaction is unavoidable. But reactors are expensive, and we don't want this to happen very often. The solution, as I've very subtly been hinting, is magnetic confinement. At the simplest level, this is the idea. Charged particles have a much easier time moving along magnetic field lines than across them. If we imagine a straight magnetic field, charged particles spiral along those field lines. This is the behavior we want in one direction, but particles can still stream out at the ends. We want a shape with no ends to close the field by wrapping it in upon itself. A torus-shaped magnetic field is what the scientific community came up with. Yeah, it's just a donut. Here's some other important vocabulary. Toroidal is the long way around the donut. Poloidal is the short way about the cross section. Combining the two, and you get a torus field with a helical particle path. But how do we do this? The main idea in most fusion projects is the Tokamak, a Russian acronym for toroidal chamber with magnetic coils. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. It was first envisioned in 1950 by Soviet physicists Andrei Sakharov and Igor Tamm. In the T1, the first fully functioning Tokamak was built in 1958. ITER, the most expensive fusion project in human history, and backed by 35 nations, is a Tokamak reactor. So you know, this idea is legit. But how does it work? A Tokamak uses large external coils to create a toroidal field. Then a central solenoid induces a large current throughout the plasma, and that plasma current creates the poloidal field. Some other poloidal coils are also used to shape or position the plasma. The key takeaway here is that a tokamak is very powerful and symmetric, but it relies heavily on plasma current. A stellarator takes a different approach, using complex external coil geometry rather than relying on transformer-driven plasma current. It was invented by American astrophysicist Lyman Spitzer at Princeton in 1951. And the first actual stellarator was a tabletop reactor called Model A, built in 1953. The German Wendelstein 7X is one of the best known current examples of a stellarator, and you can just see the level of complexity. Honestly, it's pretty beautiful. The real difference between these two approaches is where you want the complexity, in the plasma current for tokamaks or the coil geometry for stellarators. The IAEA frames tokamaks and stellarators as the two most common approaches to magnetic confinement, with tokamaks more common today and stellarators attractive for stability and steady state operation in the future. Magnetic confinement is the core of the reactor, and often how different projects are distinguished in this branch of fusion. Next week, we'll talk about what happens after you trap the plasma: heating, control, and instabilities. And here's what else I'll be covering for the next few weeks. The next video will also be linked here once it's out. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments, and please drop a like and subscribe while you're down there. Anyway, I don't know how you can control yourself. Go click on this. It's a real hot topic.